The number was wrong. Not slightly wrong, but it was way off. Vikram Mehta, regional sales head at Bright Star Solutions, was staring at his sales dashboard for the third quarter in a row. And the color staring back at him was a deep, painful red. The kind that shows up in your sleep and asks you, why are you still here? This is where we start, exactly here. Not at the win, not at the brilliant strategy, but at the week before everything changed, while Vikram has absolutely no idea that anything is about to. Hi, I am Prashant Uttekar, and this is the Accidental Sales Strategist, where every episode is two things: a story and the framework that was hiding inside of it the whole time. Quick thing before we go any further: Vikram Mehta is a fictional character. I repeat, Vikram Mehta is a fictional character. People keep telling me that they loved my story, which is very kind of them, but it's also not quite right. It's not a biography. It's of course drawn from the experiences that I've had at corporate, but definitely it's a fictional character. However, each salesperson has experienced these scenarios and situations. Right, back to Vikram and the red dashboard. Bright Star Solutions was not a small company, not a startup surviving on shared office spaces, but a serious B2B enterprise software player with genuinely good products, and Vikram had spent his entire career defending that fact. Our features are superior, he used to say that all the time, so much that he until started doubting it. At occasions, he found himself wondering whether he believed it or just repeating it until it felt true. The problem was that the market had stopped caring about features. Deals were dragging on for so long than they should have. And smaller competitors with fewer features were picking up clients that Vikram was certain were his. Nimble, people called him. Vikram had other words. Most of them surfaced around 2 a.m. Then there was Alpha Corp, a big potential account that his team had been working for months, and he had practically already spent the commission in his head. Gone. One meeting. To a competitor he was convinced was running on hopes. The client's explanation was 4 words: they just got us better. Which left Vikram wondering, got what exactly? Because it was probably just a lower price. I know this one is hitting the right spot for a lot of my sales and business folks. That evening, his optimistic colleague Samir drags him into an office industry meetup actually. Free snacks and some gap. You know how they are. Vikram was mentally replaying the lost deal for the 14th time when a retired CSO takes the stage and says something that actually cuts through. He talks about how most of us spend our careers trying to sell what we have: products, features, services. We are solution providers and problem solvers. That is our identity. And then he pauses and says, what if we stop trying to sell what we have and started understanding what our customers need to become? What if our real asset was not the brochure but our perspective on their future? Perspective on their future? It lands somewhere in Vikram's head, not loudly, more like something quietly taking a precedence. Few days pass and the old CSO's words are still there. So Vikram tries something different with the Alpha Corp follow-up. He walks in without the deck, looks at the operational head, a Mr. Gupta, and says, if you could wave a magic wand, what would your operations look like in 3 years? Mr. Gupta looks at him, then looks at him some more. Magic wand? Mr. Mehta, we are looking for a software solution, not a fairy tale. The rest of the meeting is Vikram scrambling for his brochure, points at the features, and walking out with nothing. No deal, no next step, and a strong suspicion that Mr. Gupta now considers him mildly incompetent or very, very unwell. Here's the thing about they just got us better. Most sellers hear that line and immediately think price or product gap, or maybe the competition had a better pitch on that day. But the competitor did not apparently win on features. They apparently understood the client in a way that Vikram's whole presentation had missed. And Vikram's instinct asking about the future was correct. The problem was he walked in cold, which meant when he asked a big question, Mr. Gupta heard it as vague and unprepared rather than visionary. There is a gap between perspective on their future and magic wand, and the gap has a name. We will get to that, but not today. End of the day, at the coffee machine, a man named Mr. Sharma appears again, the same retired CSO from the meetup, who now occasionally consults at Vikram's firm. Vikram admits the day was bad. It really, put him down. Sharma nods and says, people are usually too busy wrestling the crocodiles closest to the canoe to worry about the waterfall miles downstream. Does not mean the waterfall is not coming. Of course. Or that knowing about it would not help them pedal a bit differently. Whoa. No advice, no fix, just that image. And Vikram goes home more confused than when the day started. I have sat in rooms like Vikram's Alpha Corp meeting, and I've been on the both side of the table as well. The thing that I notice the most is that sellers who lose deals cannot explain are usually not asking too few questions. Actually, they are asking the right questions at the wrong time, before they have done the work that earns them the real answer. Remember, the client does not owe you an honest thinking just because you showed up, just because you're there. That trust gets built before you walk in, when you arrive, and during the meeting, and in how long you listen before you start talking. Every team I work with has one or two people who do this naturally. The rest of the team thinks they are good with clients. What they are is more prepared and more patient. And the gap between these two types of seller is not personality. It is actually the method. And Vikram is about to stumble onto this method. Vikram goes home, his wife Meera makes chai, and the most important sales lesson he ever had is about to come from somewhere nobody would think to look for it. Next week, a retired history professor, a bonsai tree, and the most unlikely sales framework origin story you will hear this year. If something in today's episode resonated with you, or you have a Vikram or two in your team, I'm happy to listen and have a conversation about it. Until then, see you next week. Bye.